You are entering a world where up is down, black is white, fire is cold, and other things are things that they shouldn't be. A world not unlike your own, but also not like your own. A different world. The world of In 5D.
5D.
Wow, totally off on that one.
Yeah, I was
Didn't have it.
well because you said in before, and what I do when I structure mine is whenever I put the word in, it's
This ain't-
always in 5D.
This ain't your structure, bitch. In
I
my
know, but
structure.
that's why it
My house.
confused me.
Welcome to my house. You're in a Klops, this is a did you not? We're in a world where things aren't what they're supposed
But if
to
it's
be.
in your house, then doesn't that mean it's also in my house because it's not in the world that you know? That's also.
But it's
like,
also not in a world that I know.
You know, to be fair,
Right.
it could be in anybody's house.
Whose house?
Anybody's
Run's
house.
house. I said whose
Oh,
house?
and that is probably one of the weirdest openings we've done. Not because it's been bizarre, like edgy, like we used to do, but because no one knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Is it not Run's house?
I think it is Run's house.
In the middle of our
who's-
street. No, it's talking about the whole opening.
Yeah, Run's house in the middle of the street. This is the collab we've needed for years.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to another episode of 5D. It looks like we have quite a few things to talk about, but as always, our hosts here, we've got Bonsai, who's sitting above me. Hello,
I'm
say
above
hello,
him.
Bonsai.
And then Eduardo that's sitting below Bonsai.
And then I have Klops sitting below
It
me.
actually took me a minute to put that together. I was like, wait, how do things work? What's that?
Yeah, you were very, very confused there for a second.
Which one am I
Great.
again?
It's great. The people on listening to the podcast won't see his face, but it was great.
It was great. Well, it's like his face normally. Just make him do math, and that's the face he gives.
I was confused. Numbers
What's
were
the
going
math?
everywhere.
Tell me about the rabbits, George.
2 plus 2 is bleen.
A letter to my friend.
Oh, right. My bad. Purple plus 3 is 7.
It is. I seen it.
All right. So, I do have a little bit of e-news that I wanted to talk about.
Clap, sing the E-News song.
It's the E-News. We have the E-News song. It's the E-News. It's the E-News song. Here's the E-News.
Woo!
Thanks, Claps.
All right.
Back to you, Eduardo.
Da-da-da-da-da. This is why nobody listens to us.
You know, I've
So-
actually been contemplating buying a small piano to play whenever we do jingles.
Oh, that'd be great. But it's just gonna be like a normal piano because you're huge.
Right.
Fucking Viking playing a piano it'd be hilarious. We got to do a whole bit about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, tell me you guys saw some of these sweet, sweet, delicious trailers we got dropped this week.
I finally saw the Detective Pikachu one.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's only been a week.
It's only been a week. So, real quick, thoughts on Detective Pikachu?
I'm happy about it. I just wish they had the original casting for Pikachu, which was going to be Danny DeVito.
Oh my god. Okay, only if Mr. Mime is now Willem Dafoe.
But it doesn't say anything.
It doesn't say anything.
You just see his face, dude. That's all it takes. It's Willem
Just-
Dafoe.
Jesus.
Well, I would hope that Detective Pikachu is almost like his character from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What's his
Andy
name?
lost me.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
about to
man.
say. No, I've heard it, but
Frank.
I don't
His name
think
is Frank.
I don't think we need a perverted uber creepy Pikachu. I think that's a different Pikachu. That's not
Where's
Detec-
my foot knife?
Yeah, that's no. So other than Detective Pikachu, tell me you saw Once Upon a Time in Deadpool.
So it's Once Upon a Deadpool.
Once Upon a Deadpool.
Wasn't
I
that the
totally
one where he's
fucked
like
that up.
reading the story to
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage, yeah.
Been out.
So does anybody get that overall? Why it's Fred Savage in a bed having a story told to him by Deadpool?
Princess Bride, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Making sure. It's an awful movie, but you have to know about it.
Well,
I
no,
love
no,
Princess Bride.
I realize,
Oh.
and that I believe that was dropped this last week.
Hey, are those rocks ahead? I don't know, but we'll be dead. Stop that ramming! I mean it. Anyone got a peanut? You don't love that? You don't love that fucking what? You've lost all
So
credibility.
Eduardo has mentioned before that there are these few movies out there where my brother would watch them over and over and over again, He would watch the movie, then he'd watch the movie again, then he'd find a commentary track while watching the movie, then he'd watch the movie after that to see if he can catch the things from the commentary tracks. Princess Bride was one of these movies.
And
I've seen
Ghostbusters.
Princess Bride easily 70 times in my life, and I haven't enjoyed it fucking 50, 55 times, 60 times. I don't know. I can't stand that movie.
I've
that's
seen it
not
once.
because of the movie. It's because of your brother. Then
Yeah.
Right, but like I can't help that I don't like it because of that. As I said, you have to see it, but it's a fucking terrible movie. Watch it 70 times. Tell me if it's still fucking good. It's not.
I've watched it a bunch.
Yeah, I've seen it the one time just because everybody always talked about it and I wanted to get the references. And I'm not gonna lie, there are parts of that movie I don't fucking remember. It's been a while since I saw it.
Remembering. Anyway, so now we're talking Once Upon a Deadpool.
Once Upon a
Fred
Deadpool.
Savage is in a bed.
So does everybody know what it is? Like they get
It's
the joke.
PG-13 Deadpool trailer.
So they've re-edited it and they're re-releasing it. By the way, this is fucking brilliant for the people. They're like, hey, you know how we can make more money off of this and sell more toys? Let's re-release this thing to children. Children.
You know how many people I had walking around my office, any of the office? Is Deadpool appropriate for my kids? I know it's a superhero.
No.
Rated R!
No.
Not appropriate for your fucking
And this is one of those where like the R rating is there for a reason. It's not like oh, it's a little violent, you see a little bit of blood. It's like no. I mean the first one had full blown like what, pegging, right?
I just can't believe that there are still people in this day and age who think, oh, it's a superhero. It must be for children. There is
Oh.
tons of well-known super material that is literally not for children.
Oh, that actually reminds me. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm glad you brought it up. Did you guys hear the whole Bill Maher talking down Stan Lee?
No.
So he made a whole blog post about, after Stan Lee passed, about how, all Stan Lee did, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact verbiage, but all Stan Lee did was get a lot of people to watch these movies and how it was just a thing for children and this and that. And Stan Lee's company actually replied and they were like, look, we respect your right to say that in this, great nation and imagination, but we think it's kind of disgusting. They said that kind of thing about like Shakespeare and Dickens where it was just, it was drivel. So people were pretty upset about that, which just goes along to what you said. Yeah, a lot of people still think comics are just for kids. Dude, some of the comics that I read, like the indie stuff, I wouldn't want any child to read those.
We have one of those one of the tiny libraries or whatever in our neighborhood, and every once in a while my wife and I accidentally buy a comic that we already own. It just, when you collect this much, it fucking happens. We had a few books we wanted to put in the tiny library, and when we popped them back open, we went, kids can hit this thing, and there are scenes in this that I'm not comfortable leaving in a tiny library for a bunch of young kids to come and just grab the comic. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
not okay.
You want your 6-year-old running around with Saga?
Oh yeah, or Walking Dead, or Low, or Invincible. Like,
Oh, geez,
no,
yeah.
none of that is appropriate for kids.
Yeah, and even the like the depressing slice of life stuff. Yeah, if you're a teenager, it gets, you get there. But if you're a little kid, you're gonna have all kinds of questions.
Seriously, I've actually had the same thing about animation a lot too. Oh, it's a cartoon. It's for kids. No. Like, there's a lot of people I know who are like, oh, my kids watch Simpsons, and I'm like, look, a lot of episodes are fine, but there are also a lot of episodes of The Simpsons that you should not let your children watch.
Oh yeah, I mean,
What's wrong with you?
all kinds of stuff. Futurama too. Like, if you really pay attention to some of that stuff, you're like, okay, I could see how kids are into this with the crazy wacky robot, but Bender's a mean drunk.
I mean, to be honest, one of the ones I saw when I was a kid, because my dad was like, it's a cartoon. It's
Oh
fine.
yeah.
I
South
saw
Park.
Heavy Metal when I was in 4th
Oh
grade.
okay. Oh
That
geez.
movie is titties and murder and fucking aliens doing huge rails of cocaine and like a fucking bot with a fucking vibrato finger banging some naked blonde chick voiced by
Dude.
John Candy. Shit was not appropriate. Like, I'm fine mostly. I work a normal job. I have a wife. I have a house. I didn't turn out a psycho. I'm just saying it's probably not, like, if I had a kid, Heavy Metal is not on the 4th grade watching list.
I
don't know.
feel like
I also had that experience though where I watched pretty much everything but porn. That was the thing I couldn't watch, right? You know, growing up, which is fucking phenomenal to me. I could watch two people murder each other, but not two people fucking. And I don't know. It's really heavy topic. I think it really depends on the kid that you're raising and how mature they are and what they can handle and stuff.
no, that's
sure,
only at a certain age.
Granted, but I'm just saying to look at it as it's for kids. No, it's not even close. It's not.
I always felt
That's
like
not something you can just fucking put on and let all the kids in the neighborhood watch.
No, true.
And so your kid has a birthday party.
I
let's
agree.
throw on from the chat saying right now, oh, let's throw on Fritz the cat. Like, no, that just because something is animated, just because something is a cartoon or a comic book, to just automatically assume it must be fine for children is really dumb. Like,
Yeah,
it's
really.
It's not even just like I'm insulted because I like them. That you really shouldn't assume that about anything.
Well, it's come on.
Music, movies, TV. Never just assume that because something is a certain Avenue Q. Oh, it's Broadway. It must be fine. It's Broadway with puppets. That shit is about fucking AIDS and drugs and
Right.
shit. Like it's literally, and things have ratings. Games. You see, people just let their kids play whatever game. Well, there's a fucking rating system.
There
Look at
is.
it. Comics have a rating system. Games have a rating system. TV and movies have a rating system.
But
if it's rated
nobody-
mature, it's probably not for a kid.
The only time people pay attention to ratings is when they want to blame shit for stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
So we got
Anyways.
so far away from E-News on this fucking tangent.
No, I know.
Deadpool, PG-13 cut of Deadpool with Fred Savage.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna watch it because I already watched the original. I'll wait till it
Right.
comes out on video or something. But because I just want to see how they did it. Because yeah, that's one
There's
of those.
new scenes too. Like there is new material.
That's one of those where I would definitely like to watch the original and then watch the edited version and play some sort of drinking game. I think that'd be great. Like, hey, let's take a drink every time Deadpool was supposed to say fuck or something.
God, you'll be dead by the end of that movie.
Oh, it'll be great. We'll just not do it like our Darkest Dungeon, where instead of taking sips of my beverage, I was taking sips of a straight bottle of rum. Well, it was Malibu, so it was like rum light, but still, I was fucking wasted. I think we still
You
have
weren't
those.
around for that, Klops, but that,
No, the
that-
videos
that's-
exist
that's
here on the
bad.
YouTube.
I called it early.
Yeah.
I was
no-
like, we have to stop because they made a guest cry and couldn't stop yelling at each other.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it. I wish I was
if
there.
you look through the YouTube channel, it's still there somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's there.
Moving
it's got-
on.
It's got its own playlist. Anyways, okay, other trailer that dropped. Did you guys see the final Aquaman trailer?
I
No.
did.
Oh, Klops, you piece of shit.
So me and Eduardo talked about this beforehand. Should we talk about the part we disagree on first or not yet?
Sure. And for me, it was like, I think the whole thing is ridiculous. I don't think that them including it is ridiculous. I think in general it was ridiculous. But please, go ahead.
So I will lead up with being not saying what it is like you did, but talking about my side of it first, because fuck you. This is actually one of the things that literally before he even said, I was thinking, well, this is one of the things the movie has going for it. This is one of the things that's putting my butt in the seat. This is, I'm stoked for this. I think it was the right call. I think it looks great. I love the Aquaman suit. It looks good.
Look, I'm not going to say that it looks bad in the movie. I'm just saying in general, that was my least favorite superhero outfit.
But worse than yellow spandex from the X-Men?
Yes, because by the time I got to the X-Men, it was the Fox Kids show, and I was okay with it. Because it was only
Still a
Wolverine
lot
really
of
rocking
No,
the...
Cyclops still had spandex.
So are
Oh,
they,
yeah, Spandex,
putting
but not the bright yellow.
Are they actually putting like the original suit in?
It's I wouldn't call it the original. Where the original is legit just green and orange spandex.
Yeah.
In this, he has straight up green and orange, and not like muted pale colors like they've been doing. Technicolor, orange and green armor,
Yeah.
and like sleek, not big bulky
So-
battle armor. Like thin fitting scale mail. Think of it's a modern
So,
take on the original Aquaman costume.
I've got a profile picture that
That's
that'll be
how
up
I
here
always
in a
kind of
sec.
pictured it. I never really pictured it spandex, but
Right.
I always pictured like
there's
it
a
always
better
looked like it had like
picture
fish
than that,
scales.
No,
on it.
there very much are better pictures, but this was the one that I brought up because it showed how tall fucking Jason Momoa is. He's
God,
fucking
that
huge,
man is-
dude.
I love them.
But so actually, this picture does do one thing. The Mira suit is also just this like green form-fitting suit thing. The costumes in this are on point. Black Manta's little mask. You think to yourself, how's his head fit in that mask? But they're still doing it because that's his mask. I love
Yeah.
that they didn't pull an X-Men 1. I love that they didn't try and do this like, we're gonna change up the suits because it was goofy looking.
And
No,
again, I'm
literally
not saying
every
it
time that
looks
happens,
bad.
Everybody hates it.
I'm not saying it looks bad. My whole thing was I never liked the original color scheme. I think
But
they're
to take your source material and do what you can with it to
Oh, yeah.
actually modernize it and make it look at least legit.
Well, I mean, just remember the first Batman outfit where he couldn't turn his head.
But it looked legit. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
no,
You don't get to
exactly.
turn your head for a couple of months. You're getting $1 million. Shut up.
Again, at least in that one, I liked the source material, even though how they executed was weird. This one, whatever, the colors suck. Anyways, I had no opinion up until now on this movie. I liked Jason Momoa. I liked how he acted in the DC
Justice
movie,
League Dawn of Justice.
Justice League. No, it wasn't Dawn of Justice. That was the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
Justice League, Dawn of the Justice League.
Yeah, that was like the fucking. I hated that movie.
I believe it was
Batman
called
versus
Superman.
Justice, Dawn of Aquaman.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was called Justice League Dawn Time, not Sleepy Time. Justice
Dawn
League.
of League, Justice of Doom.
see,
Yeah,
Batman
right.
vs Superman was so bad. I didn't even go watch Justice League.
Justice League, other than Justice League, is a 50-50 movie. For every absolute correct decision, there is an absolutely incorrect decision.
I agree.
It's at least worth watching because there are parts to take away from and go, fuck, that was done correctly.
You know what's weird? Not to go all the way back to that review. My least favorite part was the part that I thought I was going to enjoy the most, and that was the Flash.
I liked The Flash. I'm looking forward to an Ezra Miller Flash
No,
movie.
I just hated the whole I'm so quirky and awkward, and it's everything everybody was already fucking doing. I wasn't a fan. Too much.
I will say they kind of confused Barry Allen and Bart Allen. Like, Barry was not usually the quippy, funny guy. That's usually Wally or Bart. But
Yeah.
I also get it because otherwise, like, you have 5 serious heroes doing serious hero things.
Oh,
That movie needed a comedic relief, and I'm
but
fine with it being.
I will say that I like how Jason Momoa delivered some of his lines.
He walks that fine line of like
Yeah.
the Tony Stark and the Captain America. He's a great blend of like, I can be funny and quippy, but also I'm going to hurt you now.
Yeah, no. I've liked Jason Momoa ever since Stargate Atlantis, and I
So
know a lot of people
more
hate
on
that show.
Atlantis, more on Aquaman. Go. We're getting way off topic. this
No. I'm actually interested now. I wasn't before. Well, it wasn't that I wasn't. It was one of those like, I'll probably wait. But now I genuinely want to go see it. I know very little about Aquaman in general. I didn't read the comics. I know from the video games here and there.
Fish.
Yeah, it's so sad. Talking bird.
I mean, I remember that, but that's pretty much it. I was hoping one of you guys had actually read the comic.
Nope. I remember
Nope.
the cartoon from
Nobody.
like the '60s that I used to watch. With the Hall of Justice and having Aquaman in it in every episode. He's like,
I actually love that fucking show, and Aquaman is actually one of my favorite characters in that show because
Yeah.
he's super downplayed and people don't get it.
Sure.
Aquaman was never a series that I avidly collected, but I have many series where Aquaman is in them or members of the Aquaman family are in them. So it's one of those things where I'm more familiar, but I was never a diehard Aquaman fan.
Fair enough. Okay, so check out the trailer if you guys haven't seen it already.
Well,
Looks good.
can I do my, so I was telling
do
him
your
before
spill.
the stream started, I have one concern. So I'm on board. I'm in. This is my movie this year that I'm going to see. I do a movie every Christmas, like one of the big releases. This is my Christmas movie. I will avoid spoilers till I see it. I'm 100% in, 100% going to see it. My only concern is it looks like there might be too much going on in this movie. Just from the trailer, you see him getting trained as a kid, him fighting a one-on-one battle, him fighting in a war, him going on an adventure for a lance, him having like moments of doing human stuff. There's just, I'm worried about the pacing in the film because it seems like there's a fuck of a lot happening in this movie, which can be done well. It can be done not well. I'm not saying I know either way. I'm just saying it's one of those things that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. This is one of those movies where I'm going to be looking at the pacing going, huh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to come into it worried about your pacing, and missteps might really hurt this film and make it seem either like, do you remember the really shitty Avatar The Last Airbender movie where they tried to cram a season of The Last Airbender into one movie? And it just felt so hurried, like, he's a kid, he's an ice, they're traveling, there's a fucking flying beaver yak, war, fire people, now we're at a wall, fuck, that chick's dead, bigger war, oh, now everything's fine, but is it? Like, it was just so hurried.
It was very hurried.
No,
also,
I haven't watched it, by the way.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't.
That's
It's
why
very
I
rare
haven't
that I'm
watched
like,
it.
it's very rare that I'm like, literally just do not see a movie. Do not see this movie.
From someone who's never seen The Source, I was very confused during that movie.
Did you ever watch Avatar, Klops?
Yeah, I've watched Avatar, the whole thing. I love it.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, that's why I know. That's generally my rule of thumb. When I love like a cartoon or an anime or something, I don't watch the live action.
What,
'cause I
you don't
know
like
Occasionally it gets
Shyamalan?
done, right?
Eh,
Very occasionally, it's been just not.
I'd rather go
was
watch
on-
the Mario Brothers movie.
I like the Mario
Yeah,
Brothers
so do
movie
I.
very
But
much.
that's one of those. It's terrible.
I like it
it's
for
awesome.
something different. Yeah,
It-
not
it-
because it's
It's
source
like
material.
it's like The Last Starfighter. I love the dick out of that movie.
They're dancing again. Such a good movie.
Oh my god! All right, so have you said your piece about Aquaman?
Aquaman.
There we go. Attaboy. Okay, so other little bits of e-news. I don't have graphics for this stuff. So does anybody know who? And let me just look at this. 6ix9ine.
6ix9ine.
Yeah, that's
I'm
how.
gonna go with no. Oh,
That's how he spells his fucking name. It's a 6, an IX, the number 9, and INE.
6ix9ine.
Yeah, exactly. He goes by 6ix9ine. That's what he goes by. That's his handle. That's his rapper handle.
When did music suddenly decide that they don't need to use characters appropriately? Like key $sign ha and question mark estlove, because question mark doesn't have a pronunciation, so the best you can do is like make like a confused face.
this is shitty.
That's
Like
love?
SoundCloud rappers have gotten into the mainstream.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's just as I don't know that it's a SoundCloud thing. I just don't understand why we suddenly as a people accept that like that's what this
but
is.
it's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's not just rappers. I mean, come on, Deadmau 5.
Yeah, no, well,
And I like his music, but
will at
Deadmau
least
5.
I will at least give that one this. Leet speak has been an established thing, and although it's not full leet speak, I at least looked at that the first time and knew what they were talking about. Questlove I didn't get until somebody said it out loud, and the Kesha thing is just pretentious.
Yeah.
But legitimately, the first time I saw the Questlove with, I guess he doesn't do that anymore, but when he first started, it was question mark Estlove. And I looked at it and I was like, Spanish Estlove. Why isn't it upside down? I legit like it just did not form anything in my head.
That's funny. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this guy has been through a whole set of craziness. He originally got in trouble for videotaping or being in a video where sex acts were happening with a minor. Obviously, the video is not available, and I didn't look for it because I don't want
and
the
if
FBI.
I can interject really quick, if you guys want to go ahead and Google what this gentleman looks like online.
Oh my god, yeah, it is.
He looks
wonderful.
exactly like you expect him to look based on his name being 6ix9ine.
Yeah, no, this is magic. This is magic. Anyways, look,
Yeah, he's
I haven't listened to his music. I just know that every so often he pops up in the e-news channels, and this time, originally he got in trouble for that. Apparently, and I'm only describing it from what I've heard, is there was a video of a dude having sex with an underage girl, and he's in the background making pelvic thrusting motions and like smacking the girl on the ass. So he got in trouble for that, and then the judge didn't give him jail time.
Do you want to know his real name?
Well, is it like Clarence?
Daniel Hernandez.
Oh, because of course that's his name. Jesus. Oh, but
So to be fair, he's actually, the charges that they're sticking him with are racketeering and firearms.
yes. So it's a whole saga. Bear with me. So,
Okay, I didn't realize that this was an evolving process.
Oh yeah, no. Originally, he got hit for the thing with the minor. The judge gave him a deferred sentence, and then eventually gave him probation. And then after that, he got hit up again for I believe he fired off a weapon at another rapper's like video rapping party or something. It's still not done. And then he goes kind of batshit crazy, and he fires all his publicists and his producers and everything. And he puts out a video going like, if you get a call from any of them saying I'm going to show up, fuck that. I'm not showing up anywhere. He's like, if you're going to book anything, talk to me directly. And then, so then after that, not just him, but his entire posse has been arrested for racketeering and firearm charges. So all kinds of craziness is going on. And the only reason this made it into here was because that name is fucking stupid and ridiculous. And I wanted to say that. But it's
also
a whole
because
saga.
face tattoos, and that's something that
dude.
people need to give a shit about.
Face tattoos and My Little Pony hair. You saw that.
Yeah.
The ra-
Oh,
the ra-
yeah, no,
the
yeah,
rainbow
I'm with
hair.
Hey,
Yeah. So
my notes rapper actually.
Wait, hold on. Just the bit I'm reading about him, this is great right now. Was accused of squeezing a police officer's hand so hard he caused swelling. How dare he? What sort of menace is this? Young man. Oh, how dare you.
That's funny.
Squeezing those police officers.
He tried to go for that like power handshake. He took a little too far. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. So the chat is posting a wonderful picture. Sponsored by T-Mobile, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
The food court at Arizona Mills is where he was playing Labor Day weekend.
Oh my God.
Good.
And-
I hope
and-
the food court is like an ironic name for a real venue, but personally, I'm not going to look this up. I'm choosing to believe that he was just playing at like a mall food court.
Okay, look, he's not the only one though. This is a new trend with like new artists to just have this really weird look. And like, dude, you do you. More power to you. I have friends who showed up to fucking high school like this. Like,
I mean, I used to have like
whatever.
weird hair and dyed funky colors and shit, but and even as somebody who like has no problem with visible tattoos in the workplace or piercings in the workplace, I weirdly draw the line at face tattoos.
well,
Like it's just a weird line for me where I'm like, unless you're like a tattoo artist or I guess a rapper. I guess it works for rappers, but when you're like a SoundCloud rapper and there's not really any guarantee that you're gonna make a life at this, maybe don't tattoo your face yet. I'm saying you need to hit a certain part in your life and in your career before you get a face tattoo, and that's not 22 and laying down sick
Well,
beats on SoundCloud, bro.
maybe he got sponsored by T-Mobile and he was like, I've made it. I'm gonna get a tattoo on my face.
Yeah.
Who's
Appreciate
looking
it
for
for that.
face tattoos now with that sweet T-Mobile money?
I don't know. I work with people that have face tattoos, and I really don't. I don't care.
I
Like,
mean, so it's like
again,
that
though-
guy who had himself surgically turned into a lion. His boss is like, he works with machine tools. He can be a goddamn goldfish. I don't care as long as he can still work the machine tools. And
Yeah.
again, that guy is at a point in his life and his career where he's like, I can continue to make my living in this way forever. With what you do, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but with what you do, they're at least at a job that's probably not going to go away anytime soon. Like, that's not something that's like, oh man, fucking any day this shit could go under,
all
or I
I'm
could
saying-
not make
you
enough.
don't know what that DNA is like.
Well,
Yeah.
fair. But it's something that they can take somewhere else, and something where generally you can look like that. Like, it's decided.
except
I'm
when
saying
they work in the pizza restaurant.
I'm saying at 22 years old, when your money is like, I'm gonna make my money off rapping. Do you know how many people try and make their money off rapping and then don't end up making a career off rapping? I'm just saying it's a gamble, and maybe if those are the dice you're rolling, get some nice neck tattoos or something.
Yeah,
you could
nothing-
cover that up
nothing
with a turtleneck
against-
sweater in the worst case.
Nothing against tattoos, but let's just say he was a
Right.
lawyer.
I have fucking wrist tattoos, and a lot of people were like, "Don't do that because they're visible for work." Bitch, I can wear a long sleeve. It'll
Yeah.
be fine. And I'm at a point in my job, my career, and knowing where everything's at that I'm like, I can have wrist tattoos, and it's really not going to cause a problem. But again, as like a 22, 23-year-old SoundCloud rapper, maybe face tattoos
Yeah,
should not be.
but let's take
part
it out
one
of
your
let's take it
song.
out of being a rapper. Like, you know, homie shows up and he's a lawyer and he shows up to court with 6ix9ine all over his fucking face. That might be a wee bit of a problem.
I'm saying
Right.
you better be
I
able
don't
to
know.
lay down some Jesse Cochran level defense on your shit if you're gonna have 6ix9ine tattooed on your face.
But see, there gets to be a point, like, because I have my half sleeve and
Sure.
working on my whole sleeve.
Sure.
And I haven't got my hands yet, but I plan to do them. And it's not so much in my career I can just do that and not have to worry about the ramifications of them. It's that I'm going to commit to that kind of thing.
But also remember, you haven't done your hands yet. You didn't start with your hands, and you're already working towards. You're also not 22.
That's true.
You're a little further along in what's
I
going
was in
on.
rehab at 22, so I was in a different place where I couldn't get anything.
But I'm
Oh.
just saying, you're not 22 and rapping on SoundCloud. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. And again, I'm even going so far as like neck. Have your neck done, because eventually you can cover that. Hands, you can. If your boss is just like, bro, if you'll just wear gloves, you're hired. You can do that. There are not really any jobs that don't take place in October for Halloween horror haunts where they're going to be like, don't worry, you're going to be wearing a mask all day. That's not really a job. I'm just saying you can't pilot a plane with that shit on your face because people are going to be like, I'm not flying on this plane. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm not saying I'm one of those people. I'm just saying you're at a
Yeah.
very early age going, you know
I
what
think-
options I want is
The-
none of these ones.
The early age I can agree with, but at the same time, like, everyone reaches a different level at a different time.
You're gonna tell me looking at fucking rainbow bright hair 6ix9ine on his face is at a point of maturity in his life where he has
Obviously
made a good
not.
decision?
Because of the things that he's doing,
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
because of the whole
Fucking
face
saying.
tattoos.
No, I think
I'm
the
not
point.
saying the face tattoos led
My-
to that.
my point
I'm
being is
saying he's
that-
already making bad decisions, and let's not make this shit worse.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that lion guy didn't start when he was later in life. He started early in life and just kept going.
No, Lion Guy, legitimately, he went on a spirit walk when he turned 21, 22, and then it was a very slow process of he didn't like turn 22 and go, I'm gonna be a lion tomorrow. It was very expensive. It was a lot of procedures, and the procedures were done one at a time, very
Right.
slowly, turning this guy into a lion.
Look-
Before his teeth were sharpened, his face was restructured, things were injected. There were other steps first.
So, but let me just say this. Ultimately, whether you agree with it or not, the truth is the real world, the world where we all have to go out and make fucking money and stuff, unless you're going at it and making money on another way, you do whatever you want with your body. I'm not judging that. My point is that you're going to have to be out in public and people are going to look at you a certain way because of what you've done to yourself.
And you got to make peace with that. You can't get mad if somebody's like,
Yeah.
the fuck. People are going to
True.
say the fuck, and you got to make peace with people saying the
Yeah,
fuck.
and
Yeah.
part of that is you're going to show up to an interview and they're going to make calls about you immediately without even talking to you. And you can't be offended. You can't just be like, "Oh, well, they're profiling me." I'm like, "Well, no. They didn't just look at you and go, oh man, that guy, because of his skin color or because, you know, even hair, I tend to be a little bit more lenient with when it comes to stuff like that. Like, you want to have it, you know, rolled up, you want to do whatever you want, you know, minus like crazy mohawks and that, because people get weird about that too. But like,
Sure.
you are representing yourself in a certain way, and more power to you for doing it. You have every fucking right. But then don't be surprised and or offended when people are reacting with how you're presenting yourself.
And I
That's
can
all.
say this from firsthand experience. So I have gauged ears. And what's funny is a lot of like my more, you know, metalhead punk friends, like your ears are barely gauged. But at work, when I'm in an office scenario, my ears are very largely gauged to 95% of the people I work with, to the point where I was actually at a company with Eduardo, the first job I got hired at, and one of the high up execs actually said to somebody, "What the fuck is this kid with these big things in his ears doing at a company like this?" He did not like me, and it was 100% based on appearance. It's something I had to deal with. It's something I still have to deal with. Same with my wrist tattoos I recently got. I know going forward, going to interviews and going to things, I'm really going to have to back up a skill set or make sure I'm targeting companies that are known for being okay with this. Because there are places, like there was a job before I took this job, I interviewed at another place that was like, you have to wear long sleeve shirts every day. Your gauges can't be in your ears when you're coming to work. They have to be out, which honestly I think looks worse, but that's a whole other story. But it's a thing that I'm like, I've made that choice. I will never. I'm like you, wanting to get tattoos on your hands. I will never let my gauges seal. If I was going for a fucking job and they were like, not only do you have to take those out, you have to eventually let them close up, hard pass. I will 100% pass on that job.
Well, that's my point too. Like most jobs that tell you to cover up that kind of shit and like don't like it and everything else, they're not worth keeping. Honestly,
I disagree.
But you
I
have to be
disagree.
sure about that for yourself. That's a personal judgment, not a worldly
for myself.
judgment.
I don't feel it is because going back and forth. So I started in corporate, then went out of corporate, now I'm back in corporate. They're not complaining about my appearance at all or anything. Matter of fact, they like me because of my skill sets. But I know that if they did, I wouldn't be there. I would have passed.
And maybe you're the kind of guy who's like 100% I'll never work at a job that doesn't take a guy with face tattoos. But I'm telling you right now, there's a lot less jobs that accept face tattoos than accept hand tattoos.
Right.
So I'm just saying, at 22, or honestly, even up to like maybe 25 is the earliest you should be making a decision like a face tattoo, because at least then you've for sure been out in the world and been doing something with your life. Even if you're living at your parents' house, you've at least, I'm sure, had some sort of job by then and have a grip on what the world's going to be like. But as like a 22, 23-year-old SoundCloud rapper, face tattoos should not be goal one. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying the amount that it's happening and the age of these folks that it's happening to, fucking A, you were really not thinking about your shit.
Counterpoint to what you were saying about, oh, well, I deem that this job's not good enough for me. Look, if you're in a scenario where you're just in the office, you're fucking an accountant, or you're IT, or any of those where you're not customer facing, who gives a shit what you look like? No problem.
Right, and most of the jobs don't care.
But if you are in a customer facing role, they're literally paying you to represent that company. That is your job. So for them to be able to say, like, look, we don't want you to have X, they get to decide that because they're the ones giving you money to represent
I'm not saying they don't have the right to decide that. They can decide that all they want.
He's more saying it's not for him.
One, a company should have diverse representation because they're going to have diverse clients. Sure, if you have full tattoos and stuff, you don't want to be dealing with Japanese businessmen because they think you're Yakuza and don't really like that. So send a guy that doesn't.
Sure.
But if you're sending a guy to go talk with other guys that have tattoos and shit that are normally not in that corporate field or whatever, for whatever reason, they should have that.
Yeah, that's actually one thing. Like with the weed industry getting bigger, I'm wondering what weed salesmen are going to look like as this becomes more. I like not even being legitimately. Does a weed salesman gotta show up in a fucking suit and a tie? Honestly, me, if I'm like running a weed shop and a dude shows up and he's like, our corporation would like to sell you pot, like fucking suit and tie, I actually don't want to buy weed from that dude.
Yeah, but to be
I
fair,
want to buy weed from the creepy biker guy who's like, we've been growing it for 40 years.
To be fair, this is California though. Like, barely people show up in suit and ties in this part of.
You're lucky if people are fucking not wearing flip flops.
Yeah, they show up in shorts, flip flops, and just fucking like boat shoes.
Yet again, derailed. Eduardo, next topic.
Yay, derailing.
Next topic. All right. Maybe nobody cares about this. Does anybody remember Heather Locklear?
No. I remember her more from Wayne's World. I'm in a field with Heather Locklear. With Heather?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She was also in like Spin City.
I don't remember her.
And a number of other things.
Should we post up a picture? Do you have a picture of Heather Locklear up?
I don't, because the only picture the article had was a really fucked up one, and I don't want to be that guy.
All right, let's Google images this shit.
So Heather Locklear.
You want me to post a good picture? I'll put it in the chat. I'm gonna post a good
Sure.
Heather Locklear. Well, good. It's still like more recent, so obviously she's a little older. This isn't Heather Locklear in her prime, but this is mostly normal-looking Heather Locklear. There, that is.
Yeah. Anyways, so she actually just had to be booked for a 5150.
What's a 5150?
Crazy.
It's crazy
Ooh.
and potentially a
Of course, Klops knew that one.
damage to yourself.
My mom was 5150.
Self-harm.
Shit.
So
fuck.
here's the thing. I was reading this article, and then this is one of the other ones that I wasn't going to talk about, but it's a whole thing. Like, this is the third or fourth time she's being accepted. She threatened to kill herself earlier this year because she thought her fiance was cheating on her. And then after, like, a couple days after that, she got arrested for beating up an EMT, well, at least battery on an EMT. She did rehab, and it seemed like she was doing all right, but apparently her therapist said she was having a mental breakdown, and they called the cops and just took her in. There are also
it seems like a lot of problems with drugs.
yeah. And again, I'm not gonna post the picture, but Google Heather Locklear arrest photos, and
Now I'm looking at him now, and man, it just looks like life is fucking
yeah.
shoot her up and spit her ass
And
out.
that's sad because she was, at one point she was a what do they call them? Heartthrobs? Teenage heartthrobs? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, people were talking about how gorgeous she was and this and that. It's kind of sad to see. And I mean, I wish her a speedy recovery.
I mean, honestly,
but
even
shit.
beyond that, looking at the picture, God, she just looks sad. That's just somebody who life has beaten the fuck down in that picture.
Yeah.
That's a
And-
low. You can see the low, and that's fucking heartbreaking.
She reminds me of Lindsay Lohan, how she looks now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, like you just
Partied the fuck out.
Yeah, you did it a little too hard, and everyone makes jokes about like, oh, that's
Well, again. You're partied out, man. Again. If you're gonna spew into this.
Jesus. Anyways, so
Everything comes back to Wayne's World.
no, it doesn't. Just no. All right, and hey, that was it for E-News. Best of luck to Heather
it
Locklear.
wasn't. God damn it! I told you I had one, and you didn't tell me. You're gonna say it. You don't have a picture for it.
No.
You have a picture for it?
Wait, are you talking about not E-News, but the video you saw?
God damn it! No, I'm not. This is another thing that I for sure told you about before the stream, and you're gonna go, "You never mentioned it." Big
never
Trouble in
mentioned
Little
it.
China.
I have
know
that. I have that.
That's E-News.
It's kind of like
It's
Hey,
entertainment
look,
news.
I have a graphic.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ. So the
I'm doing
Big
it just to
Trouble in
upset him.
Little,
It's funny.
The Big Trouble in Little China remake with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which I have reported on before in this, has pivoted yet again. So,
Ooh, tell us.
and I'm not sure whether to feel insulted by this or be elated that finally Hollywood is listening to an audience. So the way all of this started, they were going to remake Big Trouble in Little China starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And as you're sitting there groaning to yourself going, fuck, that's a horrible idea, and being correct about that, they actually listened.
So now they got Kevin Hart to play it.
Nope, it's still going to be Dwayne Johnson. So the movie went through a couple of different changes. First, it was going to be Big Trouble in China reboot. Then it was going to be Big Trouble in Little China reworked. It was going to be Jack Burton doing something else. Now, what they've decided to do is do a sequel to Big Trouble in Little China, where Dwayne Johnson will not be playing Jack Burton. It is a movie taking place in the same universe, and the events of Big Trouble in Little China have happened, but it is not Jack Burton, and it is not
Lopan?
his continuing adventure. They have not said if it's Lopan. I would assume it's not. One of the things that really pissed off fans is sort of in this interim period before they've decided on this. Apparently, Dwayne Johnson came out and said, oh, yeah, we talked to Kurt Russell about it so we could get his blessing and figure out his mind behind Jack Burton. And Kurt Russell flat out came and said, or no, sorry, not Kurt Russell. Sorry, my mistake. The director, guy who did The Thing, not fucking Wes Craven. Why is his name suddenly leaving my brain?
John
Carpenter. he was like, we talked to John Carpenter, we got his blessing, we're super excited. He's like gonna produce the film. John Carpenter came out and went, haven't heard a thing about this. Literally the first I'm hearing is when people are asking me about this.
So you think Johnson was lied to?
I think they're saying anything to try and save a project that somebody has already spent money on, and now they're not willing to let it fall apart.
Fair enough. And it's got The Rock attached to it, so.
And I honestly just don't know if it... I can't tell right now if this is a good thing. I love Big Trouble in Little China. I have for years. I watched it as a kid and fucking loved it. It's my flavor of weird. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies where shit goes from 0 to 1,000,000 and the characters are quirky, and the whole time you're just going like, does that make sense? And he's like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Like they drive a truck and then all of a sudden there's just a gang war.
Right. And fucking magic Raiden ninjas and a beholder. There's a fucking beholder. Why is there a beholder?
The great part was the fucking Jack Burton as a character in this film was like, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
Like he was like a representation of the audience. Like, what? And now there's fucking flying ninjas everywhere?
Oh, and a big scorpion tarantula that pops out a wall and eats a guy, and then we never come back to that.
Yeah,
like, he got eaten. And
there's many things down here in the old world.
Yeah.
The movie is insane.
I just like the guy who played Lopan because he's also in Diablo 3. Also, he's a great actor.
No, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
So to do something that's sort of this like unofficial official sequel, like it's not John Carpenter writing it, obviously, so I don't know that you can call it official. It's official in name only. I would love some more stories from this. I just don't. I'm glad he's not playing Jack Burton because I'm sorry, The Rock can't pull Jack Burton. He can't do it. I'm not saying nobody can do it. I'm saying that guy can't do it. And that's not a discredit to The Rock. He has a lot of movies he's good in. I think he could pull something really close to Jack Burton. But I don't think he can pull Jack Burton. And I think doing something like this, you're walking this fine line of seeming like you got told you couldn't do this and you did it anyways, and it just coming off as this like pandery pile of garbage, or actually feeling like a legitimate fuck, they found this great home. So I will also say I collect the Big Trouble in Little China comic book, which is a direct sequel. We take place minutes after Big Trouble in Little China ends and do the continuing adventures of Jack Burton, and it's great. They captured Jack perfectly. They captured the scenario. You can get oh my god, the guy who taught him everything, who's actually passed away now, the dude from Tremors. It's fine. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Egg Chen.
Mr. Miyagi.
No, not Miyagi. The heavyset one.
Oh yeah, he was also in like Three Ninjas.
Right. There's basically like two famous Japanese guys from 80s movies, and he's the one who's not Mr. Miyagi. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Either way, there's and I guess there's the kid who was Long Duck Dong. Oh, sexy girlfriend, but he's younger and he's not an old guy. This is the old fat guy. Either way, they captured him perfectly, and it's the only way you can make him live on without recasting him. The comic just works. This is just such a coin flip, and what's worse is I want to be happy that they've listened to the audience and aren't doing the thing nobody wanted, but now they're kind of doing this coin flip and scramble, and a lot of times movies that are a coin flip and a scramble really don't pan out, and that's going to bite them really hard in the ass if it doesn't. So it's something to definitely keep your eye on. Big Trouble in Little China, the something Dwayne Johnson's Got Muscles is what I'm assuming the movie's going to be called.
As long as it's not another Baywatch, that thing was kind of a dumpster fire.
And The Rock seems to be this kind of guy who's like, I'm gonna do a dope movie. I'm gonna do a shitty movie. I'm gonna do a dope movie. I'm gonna do a shitty movie. The guy doesn't say no to anything, so I don't know if him signing on to this is a good sign or a bad sign. He has movies where he's fantastic, and then he has movies where I'm like, the fuck are you doing here?
He's like the Nicolas Cage of this age.
Seriously.
Except, he doesn't overact in everything he does. Don't get me wrong, I like Nicolas Cage, but homie overacts the shit. He chews up that goddamn scenery. But the bunny and the box.
Yeah, so that was my bit of e-news. Just more information on the Big Trouble in Little China reboot. I really do wish it well. I would love to have another truly John Carpenter feeling Big Trouble in Little China movie. I just don't know that I'm
It's
at a
gonna
point
happen.
in my life and my relationship to trust Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like, but bust out some practical effects, have him be quippy as a motherfucker, and don't bother to explain things that are going to take too long to explain.
All
Don't
right.
even exposition it. Just move on.
We've talked about movies. We've talked about Hollywood and E-News. Let's bring it back to something that's very near and dear to our hearts. Star Wars and video games. I believe Klops had something he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I've recently taken up the Old Republic.
Again.
I was never really a fan of it originally, and that's because I think I had a hard time separating KOTOR and SOTOR from it.
KOTOR is a big fucking name to live up to.
Yep. Yeah.
It is, but I can honestly say that the single player storyline or the storyline in SOTOR is actually living up pretty well to it. Now, don't get me wrong; it's not like your choices impact the world like they do in KOTOR.
Sure.
But it still is amusing. There still is a lot of fun. I'm running through a different couple storylines right now. I have a bounty hunter that I'm running through with Fallen, and I'm running a smuggler with my girlfriend. And both are kind of shooty action
with your girlfriend.
but they're both kind of stories of revenge in their own way. The bounty hunter is more about getting into the Great Hunt and finding out the people that killed his, or finding the people that killed his like mentor and like going after them and doing all kinds of things. And I'm playing him very dark side. The
Klops, you playing dark side?
I know, right? It's amazing. However, my smuggler is more on the light side. He does make some dark side choices, but that's because I'm lazy. Just give me the thing.
That's the thing. In games, a lot of times, dark side is just the easy side. Like, you can run over here and side quest, or just shoot this guy in the face now.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'll shoot the guy in the face. But all in all, is out for the people and kind of like a little folk hero, right? He's going around trying to help as many people as he can. And is also about revenge, but he's revenge because someone stole his ship and you have to go get it back. And so far, I'm liking really both the storylines. I can't wait to dive into the Sith and the Jedi side of things because I haven't done that yet. But also because I'm playing with other people, I get to see their storylines occasionally as well. Like when I run with Aaron, he's playing an Imperial agent and he goes through the same planets I do, but we have like 2 different parts that we have to run to because he's also in it, right? And you get to see a little more of the intrigue that he does as an Imperial agent, as opposed to me being a bounty hunter is just show up and shoot a dude in the face. And I'm okay with that. I like that. The gameplay itself is MMO-ish and tedious, and it was honestly the weakest point of the game for me. I know some people like that.
But having gameplay be the weakest point is a big weak point in my opinion.
They reworked it though. A lot of people like it.
Paced compared to like WoW because I have experience in that one recently too, and I hated that. I'm just not an MMO guy. I don't like the grindiness of MMOs. I'm like, I get to kill this 5 group of enemies, and then I get to do it again and again and again until I get all my guys I got to kill, and then go to my objective. Okay, cool. But the storyline is what's keeping me going. Seeing what reactions are happening, getting to make choices, and that kind of interactivity is what's honestly keeping me amused in this game. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of other skills that I haven't really dumped into, like I can send my companion out to do things, and I'm slowly doing that, but it's more like, oh, that's right, I have a companion I can send out. I don't need him right now. Go, bye. Come back in 2 minutes with the thing done.
Also known as the person who heals me.
Yeah, kind of basically. That's all I keep him for, is for healing me as well. All in all, it's not KOTOR. I don't think we'll ever get a KOTOR 3, sadly, but it's still a hell of a good time if you can get past the like kind of tediousness of the gameplay and really like the storyline and playing with other people. And some of the instances are really fun. Like there's a flashpoint you could do on either the Republic or the Empire side, and they both take place in ships, and you have to get to one destination to others. That's why you use this flashpoint, but they're completely different. They're not like cookie cutter out, like, okay, I did this on the Empire side, now I'm going to go do this on the Republic side. No, they're completely different, and they have a completely different storyline, and they're really fun to do, and it's really intriguing to watch all the different kind of like differences in it, and then see the characters from each side. Like, there's Grand Moff Tarkin, or whatever his fucking name is. He's not Tarkin, it's somebody else. But he's a Grand Moff. He's for the Empire, and you see him on both the Flash instance for your Empire character, and you see him on the Flash instance for your Republic character. You're like, I know this dick. I know him.
I will say I do enjoy some of the flashpoints. They're verses, but they're not. So you have all these. So let's say if you're, the Republic, you're breaking into this space station. If you're the Empire, you're defending. But you're not just like, it's an excuse to get you into the same room. There are literal objectives that the Empire needs to do to protect their shit, or the Republic needs to do to wreck their shit. And every so often you'll cross paths where it's like someone's trying to save a generator, other person's going to destroy it, and there might be some PvP aspect, but it's not overly forced, and it's not like a fucking battleground, and I do enjoy the crap out of that.
See, I haven't gotten to those yet, honestly, those flashpoints. I've only done like the PvE at flashpoints. And they're completely different. Like it's not the same ship, you're not going in the same place, you're not going to end up in the same sector. But the Grand Marth is doing things on both sides, and he's like, this is what's happening here, and then here's what he's doing over here, kind of thing. But all in all, I recommend it. Give it a shot. It's free to play all the way up into the end. It does have some penalties for being just free to play if you're going to go that route. Like after level 20, your XP gain gets significantly dropped, so it's more of a grind. You can talk with other people, but only if they're in the same guild. So that means if you join a guild, you can talk with other people, but you can't interact with like the world chat. Also, rezzing from like drones is prolonged. It's like 2 minutes instead of 30 seconds. And you can't run until level 10. You can't get a speeder until level 20. Which
you can't run?
Yeah, you don't get sprint until level 10, which is really easy, honestly.
Yeah, no, like you can still your character still runs, you just don't get that like really fast run. There's speed boosts to get around, which are nice, but you don't need them.
Yeah, nothing is super game breaking or anything. It's not like, aha, I wish I really had to be subscribed so I can do this thing. It's just like it's mild inconveniences around all the way.
It's like other free to play. They just slow you down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. I'm enjoying the shit of it. I honestly recommend it. I'd probably give it about 7 weird fish people from that planet of KOTOR. But I can't remember out of 10.
You mean ricotta?
No, ricotta.
No, I'm pretty sure that's cheese.
That's cheese. It's true.
Fair enough.
That brings us time. Are we going to talk about FML?
He only wants to talk about it because he's winning.
I am.
Well, he won this week.
I did.
So, here's the interesting bit. Up until about 11 a.m., you were only winning by $48,000.
Yep.
Winning is winning.
And Bonsai and I, we did the exact same fucking thing, apparently, and we both need to set tiebreakers.
Yeah. Neither one of us set tiebreakers, and we played the exact same.
We didn't even plan it this way, just fucking happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's not like we called each other at home first.
No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that this one, the movie, The Girl in the Spider's Web, did so well.
No, I
gotta judge it.
I think that one would be fine.
I didn't think it looked great. That's why.
I just think Overlord tanked a little bit harder than normal,
which is disappointing. It looks really good.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna do much better this week. Oh man, but. Look, I'm not going to catch up. I'm just going to keep whittling it away. Apparently not this way. Man, last week, these last 2 weeks murdered me because I'm an idiot. But, hey, we've got 2 weeks to try and make up. I wonder if there's a way if I can just lock you bitches out. Take that.
Yeah, so.
No, I don't own the game for our league. Our league. It's called the league. I don't own the league.
It's called a thing.
Yep. All right, and that brings us up here towards the end. Bonsai, anything for the cause?
No.
Wow, that was terrible. Klops.
Wayne's World. Party time.
Excellent.
I'm cutting off their audio, and now they can't. You can't. They can't hear you anymore, you bitches. I cut your audio off. No, it was mostly just for the rest of the audience, and they can hear you again. Bye.
Bye.